Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Game Things. I'm your host for the week, Ming, and this week we'll start off our episode by talking about a pretty cool game that was just recently revealed, and actual gameplay footage will be released on the 31st of July, end of this month. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, the game itself is Planet Coaster 2, and it is set to arrive sometime during the fall this year. We're not sure of the exact date yet, but we will keep you guys updated when we get an exact date. So in terms of Planet Coaster 2, well, it's basically just a roller coaster building simulator. But unlike its predecessor, Planet Coaster, well, 1, Planet Coaster 2 will feature water stuff. So for example, water slides, lazy pools, whirlpools, stuff like that. Yeah, so a lot more new mechanics for you to explore with, and of course for you to build your theme park with. So if you have never ever played any sort of building type of games, like for example Planet Zoo, stuff like that, I would suggest highly checking out Planet Coaster 2, because if you're just bored and want to kill some time, Planet Coaster 2 is, well, a pretty good way to cure that boredom. And the game will be releasing on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC, so be sure to, check it out when it's released. Next, we'll be talking about brand new gameplay footage for a Mortal Kombat DLC character, specifically Takeda. Takeda's gameplay footage has been revealed, and boy, is it good to see Takeda back since Mortal Kombat 10. And yeah, his gameplay style is basically pretty much similar to how he plays in Mortal Kombat 10, and he's just back to his good old form. It's good to just see him use his whip blades, I guess, to kill his opponents. And yeah, all in all, Takeda is a really cool character, and it's good to see him come back in the Mortal Kombat franchise.
If fighting games aren't your thing and you prefer a more RPG type of game, then guess what? We basically have brand new footage of Greedfall 2: The Dying World. So if you have never played Greedfall before, it's basically a fantasy-based RPG, and it's a pretty good RPG game in general, but Greedfall 2 will be releasing soon in the 24th of September this year, and they did drop a small little trailer to kind of tease its release. But the problem with its release is on the 24th of September is that, well, it's early access. And we all know that early access is kind of a tricky thing because, yes, some games do really well when you release it in early access. For example, well, Hades 2, right? Hades 2 was released, and even though it's early access, it's still freaking good. But that doesn't mean that a lot of games, when they release in early access, they are released in like a good state, I would say. So if you are intending to get the game or try out Greedfall 2, I would say to just first make sure you check the reviews and check like gameplay footage before actually committing money into purchasing the early access version. So yeah, if RPG games aren't your thing and instead you like something a bit more puzzle like, I guess, and a bit darker, then we have the perfect game for you because A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead just released 10 minutes worth of exclusive gameplay on IGN. Based on what I saw from the gameplay footage, it's basically just like Outlast, but instead of, you know, Outlast where you use like a camera, you kind of just walk around in the dark. And in terms of the gameplay, honestly, it seems kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Because in Outlast, at least you have to manage like your batteries and stuff like that. But from the gameplay footage that was revealed for A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, you kind of just go around like the building in the dark, and you try to be quiet. That's kind of it, which is kind of lame compared to Outlast. And honestly, the other thing is a lot of people mention that the main character's footsteps is way too loud. Like if you watch the A Quiet Place movie, you're supposed to be like really silent, and like the shoes that the main character is wearing in the gameplay footage sounds so freaking loud that you just question whether or not the monster you just question yourself and ask, why does the monster not hear this loud ass footsteps? But yeah, all in all, I think the gameplay is pretty basic. We probably need to see more to actually evaluate it better, but all in all, it seems okay. The one small thing that I think was pretty cool was that you have an inhaler that you can use to kind of help you hold your breath so that you can walk past monsters if they are in your way. So yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanic, but aside from that, I think most of the mechanics are pretty mid. So yeah, we probably have to see more footage to give it a fair evaluation. So if you like the horror genre or the thriller genre, but you don't like a quiet place type of games whereby you have to just keep hiding from the monster, instead you want to be on the action and constantly killing these monsters, then the next game would be perfect for you because World War Z Aftermath is a free update that you can get right now. And it effectively includes a brand new map in the Horde XL mode. So if you have never heard of World War Z Aftermath before, it's basically like Left 4 Dead 2, but with better graphics. So yeah, you basically get to kill tons and tons and tons of zombies. Which, let me tell you, although the gameplay is repetitive, it's hella fun. Because let's face it, who doesn't like Left 4 Dead, right? Left 4 Dead is a great game, but if you're asking me, does the game get boring? Yeah, pretty much. The game does get boring at times, but if you just want a good session to just chill out with your mates and just mindlessly kill some zombies and just have some fun, World War Z Aftermath would be perfect for you. And there are a lot of new things now. There's a lot of new weapons, a lot of new classes and stuff like that, and a lot of power-ups that you can just try out in the game. So yeah, if you have not played World War Z Aftermath since a long time ago, I would suggest checking out right now because honestly, with the improvements, it's a really good game. If mindlessly killing zombies is not your type of thing, but instead you're the type of guy that wants to feel like a commander, you want to play puzzle games, you want to use immaculate strategies to beat your opponent, then guess what? The next two titles that I have are the perfect titles for you. First, I have Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake, which will be launching on the 24th of October this year. And they basically just released a new trailer and it basically just showcased a couple of the gameplay mechanics. All in all, it's just another strategy game, and you can just command your troops, give them proper instructions, and play out the Romance of the Three Kingdoms storyline. There are, in general, just way more better strategy games that you can try out. For instance, one of the best strategy games of our time, in my opinion, right now, it's TFT. And guess what? TFT will be releasing a brand new set on July 31st. Currently, the set is available on PBE, so if you are interested in the set, you can actually register a PB account and basically play the game right now. But do note, if you want to try out the PBE version of the upcoming set 12, a fair warning. So based on certain screenshots that I've seen from Reddit, the queue time is up to 4 hours for you to just log into the game. So yeah, if you want to play the brand new TFT set on the PBE server, make sure you spare enough time for you to actually log into the game. Moving on from one of the best games that we currently have out there, I'm gonna talk about some pretty, well, controversial games. Specifically, gacha games. So yeah, Neverness to Everness, an upcoming gacha game made by the people behind Tower of Fantasy, will be releasing soon. And the cool thing about the game is that, well, aside from being a gacha game, it has driving mechanics, which is pretty cool. So far, I don't recall seeing any driving mechanics in any gacha games. I do think that a lot of gacha games have like riding mechanics whereby you can ride on pets, but driving, I don't think so. At least I've never played any before. But regardless, it's basically just another Honkai Impact, Genshin Impact, whatever you want to call it, just another type of gacha game like that. So yeah, if you are currently playing Honkai, Genshin, Tower of Fantasy, there really is no good reason to actually try Neverness to Everness because let's face it, just because you have a driving mechanic doesn't really make me feel like playing the game. And yeah, you can give it a shot when the game is released, but honestly, if you ask me, just stay away from gacha games if you can because you might just get addicted to it, which is not a good thing. But in any case, that basically wraps up our main news segment this week. Next, I'll move on to some games that you can get your hands on right now, starting with a League of Legends special. So, League of Legends just released a brand new game mode and it's called Swarm mode. So, if you have not heard of this Swarm mode before, effectively it's just Vampire Survivors. If you have never played Vampire Survivors before, it's basically a roguelike whereby hordes and hordes and hordes of monsters come and kill you, and basically you just kill all the monsters and you just keep leveling up, and then at the end you fight a big ass boss. So yeah, like most other roguelikes out there, every time you complete a run or you die, you gain better abilities for your next run, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's basically a League of Legends roguelike. I mean, if you guys just want to play a roguelike and just have some mindless fun, maybe give League of Legends Swarm Mode a try, and after all, it is free. Next, we move on to our next title, which is called Flock, available on PC, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, PS5, as well as PS4.
So Flock is a pretty straightforward game. You basically play as a human riding a bird and you just explore this aesthetically very pleasing land, and you travel, you explore, you grow your flock of, be it birds or flying sheep for some reason. So yeah, you basically grow your flock of creatures, and you travel the place, and in general it's just a calm and relaxing type of game, more for the aesthetics, the beautiful scenery, the calming music. It's more of a way for you to just enjoy yourself, immerse in the environment, and just relax while doing something that is not stressful, and just have a pretty calm and fun time. So yeah, if you're looking to, de-stress from your hectic work life or study life, I would highly suggest checking out Flock, because if you've played games like Abzu, it's pretty much like that, calm and easygoing. The next title that I'll be introducing is Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and PC. So, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is an action adventure RPG game, and it's basically a double A title. It plays somewhat similar to God of War with some aspects of the Souls-like games. For example, you have your flasks, you have your bonfires from the Souls-like, but in terms of the gameplay, it plays more like God of War. In terms of the game itself, it's nothing spectacular. It's a double A game after all, but regardless, some of the mechanics are pretty decent, and all in all, it's just a steady game. So if you don't really have any games that you are playing right now, I would say that actually Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is a pretty good pickup that you can try. One good thing that I've seen about this game so far is that in terms of the skill tree, it's actually really impactful, because unlike a lot of games out there whereby whenever you unlock a new ability or skill, you basically just gain increase in DPS or like some passive ability. But in terms of Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, the skill tree itself really changes the way you play the game. And one other thing about the skill tree is that the currency that you use to unlock new abilities is the same currency that you use to upgrade your weapons. So you really have to consider, like, do I actually need this new ability, or is it just better for me to upgrade my weapons and be stronger via stats? The other good thing that this game did well was that it actually gives you a good incentive to actually do side quests, because a lot of the currency that you need to unlock new abilities and upgrade your weapons is effectively not enough if you just strictly focus on the main storyline. So it really rewards you for actually doing side quests. On the other hand, you also do gain like really useful equipment from actually doing side quests. So yeah, it's nice to see that side quests are actually more impactful because nowadays, if you look at a lot of the side quests in games, it's pretty meh. I would say like you gain like EXP, which is not really that impactful. So it's good to see side quests having more power and more impact in the gameplay. Now we move on to our last and final title, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC. So this game in general is a pretty unique one because in terms of the concept itself, I personally have not seen any other game like this before. The base concept is it's a hack and slash game. So you play as a Japanese samurai like character and you basically go on and hack and slash your way through demons that are currently invading villages. While the concept itself sounds very basic and very generic like any other hack and slash game, the cool part about Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is that whenever you successfully purify a village, you unlock the villagers. So the villagers is part of the gameplay mechanic. Now let me explain. There is two other phases, and one is the managing system, village managing system, and the other one is the strategy. In terms of the village managing system, it's pretty straightforward. You can give the villagers specific roles and they can kind of like collect resources and stuff like that to help you in your conquest. But the strategy system is where I think it's pretty unique. So as you progress through more villages, you are able to use villagers to help you out in combat. And whenever you cleanse more villages, these villagers will then have access to more roles. As you progress into more stages, you get more and more options on how you want to strategize your units. And it's basically just creates a lot of interesting gameplay because every stage features different mechanics. Like you have stages where you, the commander, cannot take part in combat. You need to use solely the villagers, or there are mechanics whereby certain bosses, instead of being shown in the light, you fight in the cave. So like you have to use lights, torches, and stuff like that to light up the village so that you can actually head out to do combat. So yeah, in terms of the mechanics, there are a ton of unique mechanics to make each stage feel different. That's why I said that the game is really, really unique because not only is it a hack and slash game, it's actually pretty much a strategy game. So yeah, if you would like to try a game whose concept is really, really different and unique, I highly suggest checking out Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess because it really seems different and I would say that it's something that is worth trying out overall. And with that in mind, that basically ends our segment on games that you can get your hands on this week. Now we move on to our last and final segment, free things. So this week, Epic Game Store is giving out Arcade Paradise as well as Made of Skur. Be sure to check out these games before they are no longer available for free. And that marks the end of our episode. Once again, I was your host for the week, Ming, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And we'll see you guys next week on another episode of Game Things.